energy spirit, experiencing themselves in all these different ways. So it's not just different soul groups working with you, but also within yourself having all these manifestations. So, this time you're the mother, this time you're the daughter, this time you're the lover, this time you're this or that, which was something new for me. Because, we learn and we listen to other people, and apparently we travel in soul groups and experience all these things together. But what I got was not only that, but as an entity, or as one entity, having all these manifestations of ourself together, because we're not limited as energy spirits. We're not limited at all. We can manifest in any way we choose. So I thought that was very interesting.
Wow. Let me see if I can absorb that. So as energy spirits, so if we look at ourselves as the energy that we are essentially, coalesced in this current time and place and consciousness and body. So here we are transcending biology again. So as energy spirits, we are not limited. So tell me more. I can't wrap my mind around it. I can't wrap my limited mind around this. How did you experience this insight?
Well, interestingly, there was a certain comfort that came from it. It was quite, all these experiences I'm having in a human body were my choice. That I could actually have them with myself. I could be myself and my lover at the same time. Myself and my abuser at the same time. I could be my child and myself as parent at the same time. Which is freaky.
Okay, so I understand the concept, and I can certainly think of Gestalt psychotherapy, where you play the different roles of your dream, and you access these different like alter ego states or ego selves. And I can think about hypnosis that talks about I can think about how this applies in lots of people's awareness, but it seems like you're talking about it more dynamically or more completely.
Does it? For me, this was just a huge. I have been putting myself out there in a small way for quite a while, like you said.
Yeah.
This was a huge experience for me also, and I believe as I continue this work, I'm going to receive more information or a deeper understanding. Unfortunately, my big spirit self really gets the stuff, and my poor little human self is struggling to expand and learn, and I think we tend to open up in increments. We can open up and get this, and then the next one comes along, and stair-stepping like you go through school, first grade, second grade, third grade. So I'm confident, that I'm maybe the second semester of first grade now, and start working my way through these concepts. And only because people ask me the question. There are questions I would never think to ask necessarily. So I know that this learning process is not just about me. It's about everyone I come in contact with, and they help me to learn by asking me the questions or by pushing me. It's like you saying, and tell me more.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. More? What a concept.
I know that by talent you are a teacher, and by talent you're also a counselor. And then here you have this other division to you of what you are now calling mediumship or psychic reading. So it's how does that feel when I say that to you?
It feels weird, but at the same time, I'm beginning to like the word medium more, because I think of medium as a way to communicate. Art is a medium, writing is a medium, and I think that ends up being my role is the expression of the information as part of that expression.
You're the mediator, aren't you?
Mediator, yeah, teacher, whatever. But a mediator.
Huh. Mediator between the different spiritual realms and our human biological experience.
Right. I guess that's the best way to explain it. It's very difficult because I'm picking the words. I'm pretty well read. I have a fairly extensive vocabulary, and yet my tongue trips over my T when I try to explain these concepts.
That's interesting.
That the concepts are bigger, much bigger than the words I have.
That's interesting.
And I think if you're listening to me, you need to listen with that other awareness, so that this communication is happening through all your senses, your sixth sense, whatever awareness that is, to hear what's being said. Because I know communication happens in so many different ways, through your body language, through your eyes, that's why it's hard for me, I think, to do this over the phone, this interview, because the communication happens in so many different physical ways, along with that spiritual knowing.
So when you go into this time where you're going to be called upon to do the mediation, the mediumship, the psychic reads, you are transitioning yourself to embrace all of your senses that are on this earthly plane, but there's this collection of sensory processes that are also activated inside of you that we really don't have a language for, because we can't sit there and point to our ears or our eyes or our nose or our fingers. Instead, we have to point to what you call the intuitive realm, but there must be such a collection of intuitive sensory systems that you're actively accessing, and that the more you become capable of this, the bigger your capacity to have these different sensors comes into play as well. I don't know, how close did I get?
Right on. That was right on. Thank you. And that concept of the more I do it, the more ways I'll have to communicate. Once again, going back to you learn how to read in kindergarten and first grade, and second grade you get more vocabulary.
Right.
Moving through that process. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And it is difficult to discuss because the words are so small compared to the actual information that is being dispersed.
It also depends, how you communicate also depends on your audience too, doesn't it? Because you want to be able to make yourself make sense to this other person, but you don't know what their experience is with their intuitive set of sensory processing. So
absolutely.
So I guess it's easier between you and I because we kind of know each other. We can do this, but we're also mindful of being listened to as well. So we're not so mindful of what the listener brings to this package. But can you give us another story of this weekend where you did tap into a whole series of sensory experiences in you? And can you talk about both what you shared and what the person discovered and how it healed the person, and also who you as the conduit were experiencing?
There was a moment someone was asking about her relationships and the fact that she wasn't making good choices along the way. The information came through was very, very clear. It was the not knowing the worth of self, and therefore only attracting what we believed we were worthy of in a relationship. And as if you get to know yourself better and understand and your worth, your self-worth, and put that out to the universe, you start attracting a mate of worth, What was interesting was it was very clear that this information was important for this person.
Yes.
But it was also very important for me. And there was not only this knowledge that was being dispersed, but the clear sense of this is for you too, Mary. And I felt it as this